Hello and welcome to the Join Dota League Season number 5 here on HeflaTV 1. This is going to be a best of 1 series between aSpera as well as Hehe United. Already the draft is underway as the team said that they would start almost 10 minutes late, and as soon as I leave to go get a drink, then the game starts. So this is the plight of a caster. I'm GrandisV, and I will be your host and caster throughout this game. Thanks for tuning in. Already some interesting stuff coming out in this draft with a Spiritbreaker first pick coming out from, that is Hehe United, followed up by a Treant Protector, and aSpera starting out with a much more standard and much stabler opening with the Vengeful Spirit Puck. The Venge Puck is a really solid combination, a good mix of initiation and counter initiation, although a tad bit squishy. I think I want to talk more about Hehe United's opener as Spiritbreaker and Tree, although I think these heroes are, definitely worth picking up every once in a while. It's so very rare to see them this prioritized inside the draft, especially together. They don't really have any straight synergies, but if you do have Living Armor behind your Bera, he can dive headlong into the enemy team, and maybe that's exactly what he wants to be doing. I expect a very aggressive lineup coming out from Hehe United. As far as the bans are concerned, the standard stuff for the most part coming out in the first stage, the 3 Spin Lords and then the IO, nothing too crazy there. But in the second stage, we'll see Gyrocopter banned out by Hehe United, pretty interestingly too. And Shadow Fiend, Viper, and Sniper also going to hit the bin. They're going to follow up this Treant Protector Spiritbreaker with a Dark Seer. Hehe United going for something of a pocket strategy, although these are 3 melee heroes and can get very heavily punished by a Magnus Puck, especially when you give that cleave to the Phantom Assassin. A good RP Dreamcool combination can be disastrous, but Hehe know what they want, and I really have no idea what their last pick is going to be for the team. Although I'd expect it to be something with a little bit more scaling damage. Maybe this is a farming Spiritbreaker, maybe not, who knows? It's a very interesting lineup coming out from Hehe, and it'll be pretty reliant on them snowballing and getting an early advantage, doing well in all of their lanes, getting level 6 for the AA, getting higher levels up for the Darkseer, maybe an early Mechanism too, and Spiritbreaker also very tempo reliant. As far as standard drafts are concerned, I think aSpera definitely have the more stable and conventional lineup. If they take it to the later portion with Empower buffing up their Phantom Assassin, they can do a lot of work and just generally be a threat to the enemy team. We'll have to see if this ends up getting to that portion. Omni Nyko would be the last ban coming out from the Hehe United side, and I think that's fair enough. Would have made the Phantom Assassin almost unkillable, but aSpera going to get even further into the Wombo combo with an Enigma. And, their 5-man lineup, 5-man fight is very potent, even though Hehe do have like a Darkseer vacuum and Overgrowth with an Ice Blast on top. It can be very potent, and maybe we get to see an Aghanim Scepter up for the Spiritbreaker to get that AoE Nether Strike. But regardless, I think that fighting into aSpera's lineup throughout the game is going to be very difficult. I don't really feel Hehe's draft, but then again, I can't complain too much. I get to see Spiritbreaker and Darkseer, which are always fun heroes to keep an eye on, and we'll have to see if they're going to be able to pull this out. If they do win, this is a very important game for both of these teams, as whoever takes the victory here will move on to Division 1-2 playoffs and a chance to go ahead and play inside the Join Dota League MLG Division 1, which is pretty cool, Both of these teams would love to be up inside that rank. Zeus going to be the last pickup for Hehe United, going to offer a lot of damage, and while their mid game is very scary if they can get the momentum under their belt. We'll have to see if aSpera are going to be able to hold out long enough as we start loading in. Yeah, honestly, it looks like Hehe just have this draft in mind, and they want it. A lot of global ganking potential coming out from the AA Zeus and Spiritbreaker, and later on in the game, if an Aghanim Scepter comes out for the tree, he can also contribute in somewhat of a global fashion with the Eyes in the Forest Overgrowth. Well then. We've slowed down for a little bit after quite a fast draft. Thanks for tuning in. And hopefully this game will go by without too much of a hitch. We're going to start things off with a pause, but that'll leave me plenty of time to introduce our players on the Dyer's side of the map. This is going to be Hehe United. HWA going to be handling the Zeus, Yaron the Slayer on the Treant Protector, RVP on the Spiritbreaker, and his on the Darkseer, and well, the stand-in QUPE on the Ancient Apparition. Radiant side, it's going to be aSpera, with the Apathy playing on the Phantom Assassin, Smiley going to be playing on the Enigma, Captain Love on the Vengeful Spirit, Hakan on the Magnus, leaving last but not least our Puck to be played by Iceberg. This is an aSpera lineup that I'm not entirely used to seeing around. They haven't been together, at least to my knowledge, for very long, and well, although there are a couple of familiar faces, I really have no idea what to expect out of this game after such an interesting draft coming out from Hehe United, something very much off the wall, and although it might be comfortable for them, it's definitely not meta. Hopefully it'll work out for them. I'd really love to see this Darkseer and Spiritbreaker do all sorts of stuff. Looks like we might have some sort of issues with the match ticker page. Hopefully it's not too bad. Oops! I just knocked my mic down, and hopefully I didn't explode all of your ears. But either way, we'll go ahead and get the good to go as soon as Puck has loaded in. Iceberg is ready, and we'll see how these lanes shake down. That is an ugly courier, but either way, we'll go ahead and check this out. Jungle Enigma can be punished by the Spiritbreaker if they want to roam into the woods. A Spiritbreaker with Chilling Touch and Living Armor support can pretty easily kill off this Enigma, but for the most part, I think that Smiley is going to be pretty happy in this game. I doubt that they'll actually be able to put that together, especially without securing very deep wards into the enemy's side. They'll have one for the offlane, actually two. One's on the Darkseer as well, as RVP is going to make his way bottom. Potential dual lane coming out from Hehe United. Spiritbreaker Darkseer can be a very potent combination, and since the Phantom Assassin is going to be melee range, and with only Eventual Spirit to help try and zone out the enemy's side, this could get a lot of work done. Ion Shell on the Spiritbreaker and just letting him run at the enemy team is a great tool to have at your disposal. Let's see where they're going to plunk these wards. I expect a Magic Bush ward to be dropped, or they have something else in mind. They'll go ahead and, yeah, who knows. Either way, they're going to go ahead and plunk this ward down, although I don't think that this blocks the medium camp. I could be wrong. It is going to give them lots of vision over the Enigma's rotations. They're going to bump into the Phantom Assassin. This very well could be our first blood. Short range charge, going to give them a little bit of a stun. The Apathy looks like he's going to be able to make his way out. With no boots first on the Spiritbreaker, they can't actually chase that hero down, and he will be able to survive. Although, Hehe do secure themselves the bounty rune for the Ancient Apparition and for the Spiritbreaker. Going to get even further towards level 2, which is really where Spiritbreaker can do a lot. Up towards top, however, we have a bit of a situation for the Hehe United side, as Ancient Apparition and Magnus have found themselves in a bit of a pickle. They're going to be stuck up onto this cliff, and it's going to cost them quite dearly to get down. They have a TP scroll flying out on the courier. Can the Vengeful Spirit intercept this one? If Captain Love kills off this courier, it could be disastrous for their side. Charge in from the Spiritbreaker, going to be coming in through the sidelines. Looks like he's going all the way up towards top. Going to bump into the Magnus there. They're going to sit RVP in this lane just to make sure that Magnus doesn't have a free time. At the very least, they'll get something out of this lane situation. But getting cliffed so early on is a huge detriment to the team. Ancient Apparition and the Train Protector are a little stuck. Although the Dire team have no vision of this, their ward is a little too far to the north, they might still be able to stop this one. Let's see. Can this courier actually reach? It's going to deliver the TP scroll to the Train Protector, and now the Ancient Apparition also going to be able to get his way out whenever he chooses to do so. For now, the AA is comfortable up on top of this cliff, and eventually he's going to make his way up towards top as we have somewhat of a defensive tri-lane coming out from the Hehe United side. RVP looks like he also wants to make his way out of this lane as he's going to sell away one of his branches and maybe look to TP out. But regardless, a disastrous start, all things considered, for the Hehe United side. We have a 1-minute pause coming out from Hehe United. But regardless, we can use this time to take a look at the lanes. Mid lane's pretty close as Puck is eking ahead over the Zeus. Not really unexpected at all there. Even though the two heroes got cliffed up towards top, all that's really done is give Magnus the space for the first couple of waves to get his farm up and running. After this, he needs to be pretty darn careful. Is it going to be a farming tree? It looks like that's going to be the case after all is said and done once they got down from that cliff. Well, good to go comes out from Hehe United as we're going to resume this game. Unfortunately, the Spearberg does not have mana for charge, but once clearing up just a little bit longer, RVP is at the ready and ready to rumble wherever he wants to go. They have vision over the Enigma as he has been farming pretty freely through the jungle, but killing him solo at this point in the game isn't really a possibility for the Spearbreaker. 0 kills on either side, and honestly I think this is favoring aSpera as they're getting farm on each of their lanes as well as in the jungle. You can't really ask for much more, although the Darkseer is getting a decent chunk. And the Zeus is as well. You're comparing 2 farmers to 4 farmers. That really just doesn't add up. Charge down towards bottom onto Captain Love. Might be in some trouble as the Spearpicker is coming in like a bullet train. He's going to run through and decide to cancel that. Doesn't want to dive the tower this early on. Probably a little bit too aggressive. The courier is going to be waddling towards mid. And it looks like that's just going to be to crow the bottle coming out from the pot. Going to drop it down on the ground. Now the courier is home free. With no vision coming out from the Dire behind enemy lines. Looks like they're not going to be able to get that snipe. With Ion Shell and the Spiritbreaker, he's going to be running pretty aggressively at Captain Love. With the Orb of Venom, the Spiritbreaker, although he's moving only at 290 move speed, is still faster than the Venge at a mere 259. Hehe United should be looking for these kills, but the openings just aren't there for now. Puck is not really a potential kill if you're a Spiritbreaker, unless you get the luckiest of all bashes. The Puck, 9 times out of 10, can survive against that gank. Yeah, we're in for a pretty passive start, as unfortunate as that is. Tree is the one getting the CS up towards top for Hehe United. Once getting down from his cliff spot, he's going to start farming up, and the Magnus really can't do much about this just because of the raw base damage disadvantage that the Mag does have. 93 damage up for the Tree Protector at this point in the game means that he's going to be CSing to his heart's content. We'll have to see what the build's going to be for him. Maybe even an Ag's Rush, or maybe he backs off for a Midas or something of the sorts first. Not something you get to see every day, a safe lane farming Tree, really. RVP going to be roaming through the Radiant Woods. He's spotted out by an Observer Ward, however, so the Enigma should be privy to this fact and really shouldn't be bothered much at all. He'll just continue farming up, although RVP is coming through. Enigma, I don't think you should really be here. The Zeus is coming in from the sidelines to get a first hit bash, and they have a charge as well. They're going to drop it after the Thunderbolt, and this is an easy kill for the Dire side. First blood drawn by HWA. Hehe United going to be really happy with that extra infusion of gold and experience for their Spiritbreaker and their Zeus both, but really a Zeus with such an early advantage can do quite a lot inside this game, and I'm pretty sure that Hehe are going to be happy that's him to get that extra bit of help. Double damage rune spawning down towards bottom. I'm going to refill the bottle up for the Zeus, or I'm actually going to give that to the Spiritbreaker and refill the bottle up for the Zeus. A little bit of item tango here, but RVP now rocking that double damage rune. It's going to be hitting very, very hard. With only 1 point up in the blur, even the Phantom Assassin is potential kill. In fact, the Apathy is in a really bad corner. Walking north, trying to go over to the side shop to buy that helm. Will it be enough? Magic Missile going to come through, blink out to Smiley. He's going to be able to buy himself enough space. The turnaround on RVP isn't strong enough. With double Ion Shell up, there's not really a chance the aSpera are going to want to go back into this. In fact, Hehe going to get the regoose. They're going to go straight onto the Enigma. With the charge, now Smiley going to eat a double damage right click that chunks him down. But with the Magic Missile come out from the PA, is it enough? The ultimate coming out from the Zeus is going to drop everybody low, and the Phantom Assassin first to fall. With the Ion Shell, they'll be able to get 1. With the secondary Ion Shell, it's going to be 2. 4 for nil. The start for Hehe United is, well, even though it started out pretty slow, they've come back in a big way. Puck rotating down towards bottom, going to snipe off the Spiritbreaker. At least to get aSpera off of the board, but they leave Zeus completely alone, and the Tree continues to farm up. Well, Hehe United, this interesting draft is working pretty nicely for them. Let's see if they're able to keep up this momentum, and really I think they're where they kind of need to be if they want to stay inside this game. They're picking ahead, or starting to eke ahead inside all of their lanes, and that's really kind of the situation that you need to do when you're running with such a mid-game oriented strategy. Excuse me, Urn of Shadows going to be picked up by the Spiritbreaker. Pretty standard stuff coming out from him. Maxing out the charge, looking to roam around through all of these lanes pretty freely. No smokes up for the Dire side, although that would be a worthy investment, to say the least. Let's see where he's going to go. He's going to decide to go onto the mid lane, charging out towards the Puck. This might not save the Zeus, however. The Vengeful Spirit and the Magnus are close by, but are they actually going to lend any help? HWA is down on the low ground. He's bending this out pretty nicely as they jump into Iceberg. They get 1 bash. Is that enough damage? He's going to be able to jaunt towards his orb as the Zeus tries to run away. The coil is going to subside, and for now, nobody's actually died in the mid lane, but at the very least, Hehe forced out rotations coming out from aSpera. as they get farm up for their tree. And, well, 3 heroes coming mid don't really do much. Down towards bottom, the Zeus ultimate to give vision. The apathy is getting charged down, and there's no way out for the PA. The Ion Shell is more than enough damage, and his is going to be able to get it by himself as the charge is cancelled inside the Radiant Woods. Magic Missile onto HWA. They have a level 1 Malphus and a Black Hole if they really want to commit it, but the turnaround for the Thunderbolt. In fact, HWA is going to survive. The Midnight Pulse not near enough damage, and RVP is going to end up cancelling that charge. 6-1 as Hehe continue to expand their lead throughout this game. Puck's really the only one that's having a quote-unquote good time inside this laning phase, as is the Enigma to a lesser extent. But even the Enigma has been pulled away from his jungle because of the aggressive potential coming out from Hehe. I'd like to see them keep up the aggressive wards that they had, spotting out the Enigma's movements, actually. I think that ward's paid for itself more than once. All of their wards have expired, and right now let's see who's actually going to pick up the slack in that department. For now, it's a Soul Ring for the Tree and Protector, and he has a truckload of gold to boot, too. 800 and, or rather, almost 1400 in that regard. I expect an Agnum's Rush after backing off with this little bit of mana sustain. Charge down towards bottom as the Apathy is going to be in a lot of trouble. The Darkseer with 1 Ion Shell on a creep, probably going to plunk another one onto the Spirit Breaker as he charges through. Straight onto the Apathy is going to go. He gets his charge in. He has the ultimate going to commit it. Even though there's a Magnus here, can he buy enough space? Blink over to the creep wave. Now they bring in Smiley. They have Black Hole. Do they even need to commit? They lose their Phantom Assassin in the meantime as RVP just wrecks him. They'll be able to bring down the Black Hole, and it looks like they're going to get 2 much needed kills in return. His inside the Dream Coil has nowhere to run. The first usage of Black Hole and first major usage of Dream Coil is going to be a success for them. But still, they lose their Phantom Assassin, and the Zeus and the Tree continue farming for Hehe United. I mean, honestly, it's probably a pretty close trade, although the Puck and the Enigma are going to be very happy with the extra gold that they picked up, presumably, towards a Blink Dagger for Puck and for the mechanism of Enigma. Tier 1 tower up in the top lane is going to be pressured slightly by Hehe with the absence of any enemy heroes at the close radius. Although it's not the fastest of pushes, with the catapult at the ready, they'll be able to put a decent amount of damage into that one, so Hehe gonna be pretty happy about that. Let's see, down towards bottom, looks like aSpera are not done with this lane. They're gonna spot out the Darkseer, but they have no Dream Coil, they have no Black Hole. I don't see this going that well for them, especially since the Magnus will be forced to back off. Charge into the puck. It's going to connect with the double Ion Shell. He's getting ripped apart. The damage is immense. The Zeus ultimate flies through, and that's going to be more than enough as they chase forward for Smiley. They don't have an ultimate on the Spirit Breaker for another 4 seconds, but this should be a kill. They don't have a way to further get distance away, but they're going to find the vision. Now Smiley in a whole heap of trouble. Though Magic Missile RVP under the tower, but he's hardly taking any damage. RP onto 1, but he's inside the Darkseer wall, and Hakan going to eat a chunk of damage, and the Spirit Breaker going to be able to chase that one down and bash him with his mighty flail. 3-9 our kill score as Hehe do not fail to impress, or not really impress, but perform with this aggressive lineup, so to speak. Let's see, they've been fighting early and often, and I can't really ask for much more. The Zeus has been able to pick up quite a bit, but now his happy times are going to be put to an end as they blink onto him with that Dream Coil. As long as you bridge the gap, you can't do much about that as a Zeus. He's going to end up dropping down as he's rushing towards a Veil, and an interesting item for the Zeus, but I think it fits the aggressive playstyle that Hehe United are going for. They need to make sure not to lose too many kills like that, as I'd expect their lead to be dented a little bit, but it's still respectable. About 4,500 gold in their favor in the net worth chart, and experience about 2,000 in that metric. We still have yet to see the tree's expenditure of gold. Is this a Radiance Rush for the Tree and Protector? I don't know. I haven't seen safe lane farming Tree often enough to really gauge that. I'd expect an Ag Scepter, but you know what? He's sitting on enough gold to where I might start questioning that. Radiance on Tree is not the worst thing I've seen, but also probably not the best. I think getting that map hack vision as well as the stronger overgrowth probably would be a little bit better, as well as the ability to farm everywhere on the map could be pretty good. Charge down towards bottom. They've spotted out Captain Love. He has some backup coming in from the Enigma. Are they going to continue this charge? No. They'll stop this one down, but really RVP is a one-man wrecking crew. The double Ion Shell at this point maxed out, doing a whopping 180 damage if both of those are connecting onto a single target. Pretty much triple Radiance burn and then some. It's a dirty amount. Really, for these HP pools of aSpera, they cannot handle that at all. Mechanism on Enigma will help. but not enough. Puck up towards top is potentially losing out on a little bit of farm towards his Blink Dagger, but there's just not a safe place for him to go to. They'll instead look to try to kill off Aaron Slayer, and can they do it? They'll jump in, they have the Dream Coil, they have an RP. He's gonna silence himself, or rather, invis himself, and he's still there, and he won't survive because of the Howl of Terror coming through. The Zeus ultimate going to be committed as they turn and kill the Magnus pretty easily, too. Darkseer going to continue his push down towards bottom after previously taking a tier 1 tower, but still worth it for aSpera, as that Treant Protector was sitting on quite a lot of gold and is going to lose a large chunk of that now. Now, in his last minutes before death, he bought himself a point booster, so not going to be Radiance Tree after all, although if he was left alone, that might have actually been a thing. Darkseer's found himself level 11 and is really a one-man wrecking crew, going to vacuum back Iceberg, and even just that is going to drop down the puck down to half health. And his is really having a pretty fun time on this Darkseer, and the net worth chart is pretty much all you need to look at to understand the state of this game currently for Hehe United. As well, 4 of their heroes are ahead of their counterparts on the enemy side, and even the HE Apparition not doing too shabby for himself with a fresh hand of Midas here at 12 minutes in. He'll be able to secure himself this Aghanim Scepter, and he'll match the one on the Treant Protector, although not going to be at the greatest of timings. It's still completely serviceable. This is a position 5 support after all. Well then, aSpera completely on the defensive, but then again, their team is pretty well equipped to take those defensive fights. They'll have RP up in 40 and Dream Coil up in just a matter of seconds, and they're still sitting on this Black Hole and Mechanism up for the Enigma, so they can feasibly look for these high ground defenses. But it's only a matter of time. The apathy is really slowed down on this Phantom Assassin after so much aggression being applied by Hehe United's side. He's gone for this very early Helm, but what that's actually going to be is still yet to be seen. Should be a Veil, but I wouldn't be opposed to an Armlet, although I expect Helm. Regardless, the apathy just has a long ways to go before he actually comes back out. Overgrowth going to be committed onto nothing. Very interesting, coming out from Aaron the Slayer. He does not have the Aghanim Scepter yet, so that was not a farming ulti. Charge in bottom, spotted out by a Radiant Ward. His puck is going to need to book it, and he will do so. The Spirit Breaker is going to cancel that channeling. Backing back on Hakan. He's going to be able to get the 2-man RP, skewer them back under the tier 1 tower, but this might be his own demise. They'll turn with the Black Hole, but there's no follow-up. He's standing inside the double Ion Shell, and, well, he'll just melt. The Hiz, as well as Yaren Slayer, going to get silenced up, and they'll bring down the tree, and now turn into the Darkseer. 2-for-2 trade, however, after committing the RP and Black Hole, although it's really nice for the Phantom Assassin, it's not over yet. Captain Love going to get charged as well as Nether struck down. He's dead. In fact, they might be able to clean up everything. With the Veil applied, they're taking too much damage in the urn in one shock. It's a 4-for-2 trade. As soon as he bring in the cavalry, they just can't fight into it. BKB's mandatory for aSpera, but actually getting that farm's a different story entirely. We do have that helm up for the Phantom Assassin, but that's not going to help you here. 14-7 our kill score as Hehe continue to pull ahead. Although the tree is slowing down quite a bit when it comes to the farm department, he bought his Ogre Club before he died, and he's going to have the Ag soon. Iceberg in mid. If they catch him out with that Thunderbolt, that's already such a large chunk of his HP, and really, it seems like this snowbally lineup coming out from Hehe is doing just that and starting to ball a little bit out of control. Blade Mail and Spirit Breaker are going to be an absolute pain. They charge forward for Iceberg. He is not going to get connected with the charge and will be able to jaunt up to his orb on the high ground. No further follow-up. The Spirit Breaker can't actually kill that off. Let's see, up towards top, Phantom Assassin going to go strong in the air in the Slayer, but with the living armor at max level, the tree is not a very easy kill by any means. aSpera forced to group up and look for the pickoff onto HWA to blink in from the puck. They'll be able to Dream Coil him down. He turns for the Veil. Can he get his ultimate off? The Skewer going to whiff, but the Shockwave going to be on the mark. Sakan going to be able to get that for his team. Hehe United going to lose yet another pickoff, and slowly but surely they are starting to lose grip on their advantage too. As aSpera have stemmed the bleeding at pretty much about 6,000 advantage, between 5 and 6, right about now. It's still in Hehe's favor. They need to make sure to not slow down this momentum. The apathy going to get charged, but they cancel that in kind. With the puck coming in, the silence in the Blade Mail. Well, can they actually catch him? Living Armor going to buy him plenty of space. They'll throw another dagger that does crit onto the Spirit Breaker. They'll Magic Missile up. RP on the Aaron the Slayer. Aaron the Slayer going to be screwed back into this team, but now to jump in, he'll be able to get the wall off onto the ground. The Ion Shield damage is pretty immense. Darkseer doing quite a bit, but it's not enough as he gets silenced up. And Shockwave to the face. Mechanism going to buy him some space, but not even close. 1 for 4 going to be the trade, all things considered for aSpera, if you count the Zeus pickoff earlier, but still double kill for the Enigma, and aSpera are coming back in a pretty big way. Hehe The steam is definitely starting to loosen, although Zeus comes in with the Veil, trying to drop the ultimate. I don't think that would have been lethal. Even with the Veil amplified damage, actually it would have been really close. Oh, lesser player might have spent that. Ancient Apparition juking away from the puck. Is this a fight they can actually take? Blink in from the puck should be a kill, and will do so even with the Living Armor support. It's not enough to save his ally. With the level 2 ultimate and the Veil amplification on the Magnus, he probably would have survived with just mere numbers of HP. If you're going to go for it, you have to go for it without hesitation. But still, they'll hold on to that cooldown. Doesn't really cost them much. A delayed full 5-man wipe, as the Ancient Apparition was the last one that didn't die in the previous exchange. Tier 1 tower up towards top, going to be taken out by Hehe United, as Tree and Zeus going to punch this one down. And, well, they'll be able to get this one. Zeus gets the tower destruction, he'll be pretty happy for it. No charger in the puck. Iceberg spotted out, but with no detection onto the Spirit Breaker, can't actually go for that one. Just going to keep eyes onto him, and maybe the turnaround is there. No, not going to happen. Radiant have no vision immediately over where all of the heroes from Hehe are, so they'll decide against it, and probably too hard to dive into that either way. Spirit Breaker going to wait for a jump. He might find a target. They do hit the puck, but puck's still sitting on that Invis rune. Won't actually be able to connect. Empower is almost maxed out, and this is going to be really nice for aSpera. The Phantom Assassin will pick up some farming speed here. She has the Ogre Club complete, and she's had that for a while, but still with the Helm of the Dominator as well as Empower at level 3, she'll be able to farm out this stack of the Ancients as well as be a general nuisance to the enemy team. Eventually, aSpera's lineup is going to come in with full force. If you have a Blink Dagger up for the Enigma, as well as the Blinks for the Magnus and the Puck, that's when things get really scary. As far as Enigma's items for now are concerned, I really have no idea where his gold went. He was pooling quite a large chunk, but, well, for now, I don't actually see anything. There is a Ring of Health on the floor inside his base, so it's going to be a Pipe of Insight for him. Blink Dagger's up for the mag, and now aSpera have some tools that they can use to fight, but I think the better course of action, or at least the one that they're going to look for, is just to play defensively until you can get that BKB up for the Phantom Assassin, which is about 1,100 gold or so away, just a matter of minutes. Urine the Slayer going to start his invis shenanigans inside the enemy side, or on the enemy side of the map, excuse me, as he looks to plunk down a couple of these eyes in the forest. He'll be successful in dropping a pretty deep one inside the enemy lane. This is going to be really nice for them. And he'll keep on meandering and doing his business for the rest of the game, more or less. Although that one in particular isn't going to give him any farm. From the jungle creeps, you can catch out the lane and cut it off at that point. Even with only level 1 into the overgrowth, it's still enough to wipe out the creep wave, I believe. If not, it is very close. Disconnection coming out from the Phantom Assassin will mean that we're paused for the time being. We'll just have to wait and see how this game progresses. Right now, I'd say it's pretty close. Hehe are losing most of the momentum that they've gained for themselves. And although their heroes are still really strong now, if you give them another 20 minutes, or if you give aSpera another 20 minutes or so, this Phantom Assassin is going to be pretty unmanageable. Once you have that BKB, Basher Satanic or something along those lines, it's very hard for this team to actually kill her off. Even though the pipe's going to be eaten through very quickly by the Hehe United side, Zeus in particular munches through that very fast, it's still 400 health that aSpera weren't working with before, and a worthy pickup nonetheless. Well then, we sit and chill. There's not really much else to talk about. Speaking of chilling, I suppose, Phantom Assassin is hit by an Ice Blast, but this shouldn't net really anything. Nobody's close enough from the Dire side to really punish this. Although, Phantom Assassin with the Arcana and the Ice Effect looks pretty cool. Good to go comes out from HWA. Good to go comes out from aSpera. And, well, we'll be back in this game momentarily. Tier 1 tower in mid, going to take quite a lot of heat. Coming out from Hehe United's side. And it looks like there's not going to be an immediate trade coming out from aSpera. This Living Armor going to be really annoying for them to deal with without a full Eidolon army. Charge up towards top. It looks like Hehe are prepared to fight. The charge has been spotted out as RVP is going in this Rambo style. He's going to get Dream Cold, interrupting the charge, and now they should be able to turn and kill him, even though the Blade Mail is going to be very annoying. A Magical Missile him just the same and bring him down. Even as a Spirit Breaker at this point in the game, you can't really go into 1v5 fights. It just doesn't work that well for you. Sentry on the ground, they might catch Tree too. They have a Magic Missile going to connect. Now skewering back into the Sentry range even further. Ice Blast is going to connect, but it's not enough. Double kill for the Phantom Assassin. RP going to be dropped just to buy them enough space away from that Ion Shell into his. And now with a crit coming in from the Phantom Assassin, it's 3 for aSpera. As he trickled in one by one, and that's just not something you can afford to do, really. Getting caught out in a very unfortunate place, and they'll cancel a TP further. Puck going to chase down the Ancient Apparition, and a 4-for-0 exchange. aSpera fighting back, and in a big way, too. That's your BKB complete up for the Phantom Assassin. Tier 1 tower falling there, and, well, Enigma's going to get closer and closer towards having this Pipe of Insight for the team, which will help with their 5-man endeavors greatly. The eyes in the forest are starting to stack up, and the Dire's vision is quite immense at this moment. They have control over a large chunk of the map, but it doesn't seem like it's enough, really. They need to make sure that they gang up on the enemy team. They can't end up going completely Rambo. The Phantom Assassin, even with no great damage items at this point, is still sitting at plus 80, which is respectable. 4 staff in mid, looking to disengage. The Zeus is going to survive for a little bit longer yet. They have an overgrowth cooling down in 1 second. Maybe they can turn onto the apathy, but she has the BKB to get out of that overgrowth. Although it does go through. If you pop the BKB previously, I believe you can purge it off. And maybe a Mantis Stallion comes for a future. Down towards bottom. Another strike, and oh my goodness, that damage coming out from the Zeus with the Veil onto the puck is no joke. No joke indeed. They'll find themselves an easy pick-off. And a dominating spree, too, for the Spirit Breaker. It's going to be working towards his, presumably, Heaven's Halberd, which RVP is going to be working on. Well then, we're slowing down a little bit. He want to be controlling the map, want to be finding these pickoffs, but for the time being, they just need to chill. They'll fall back and wait for an opportunity where aSpera blow a cooldown or something along those lines, or maybe they get a smoke up. But speaking of smoke, it's actually the Vengeful Spirit to pick up one for her team. And with this gem, they can very easily do away with those very pesky eyes in the forest. I'd like to see a Quelling Blade picked up by the Venge as well, but they have the Phantom Assassin for that. It's starting to deny away these eyes. There's only 2 surviving on the enemy side of the map currently. Big circles drawn out by the Vengeful Spirit. Looks like she wants to do away with any of those eyes in the forest. And it looks like they're going to do so under the guise of smoke. They'll group up inside mid lane, smoke with the Eidolons even. And now look towards. They might be able to find a Spirit Breaker as RVP feels pretty darn safe. But then again, he seemed to know what's going on. However, the Tree Protector is spotted out. He'll get a haste rune. Can they chase him down, or who's chasing who? He's going to run back into them, trying to get the overgrowth off, but no. First down, Tree. I think you were safe if you ran right. But in the end, not going to be the case in his. In a very awkward corner, going to drop a wall that completely whiffs. Okay, then. Blinken Dreamquill also going to miss. RP also going to miss, and HWA dies. In the end, it doesn't seem to matter much, but a lot of skills were misplaced in that last fight, to say the least. But regardless, aSpera with the Black Hole primed and ready, and with the minus armor from Venge, with the bonus damage onto the apathy, he'll be able to take down a Roshan. And Hehe United are not primed in any way, shape, or form to actually contest. The net worth advantage has been completely zeroed out. Might even go into aSpera's favor after the fact of that Roshan kill, and they'll also have experience in their favor too. Enigma's going to have that completed, pipe flying him out to him momentarily, and really, Hehe's draft at this point, I don't think it functions very effectively. They need miraculous fights, and as long as aSpera don't get too overzealous and don't blow too many of their ultimates per kill, I think they'll be just fine, as long as they stagger it in such a way that they'll always have either an RP or a Black Hole to take the engagement to follow up with the Dreamquill, or to set up for with the Dreamquill. I think they'll be in a pretty good situation. This farming Tree Protector really hasn't done much of anything for Hehe at all. 0-5 and 0, although Euron the Slayer is offering some nice vision for the team. That's pretty much it. And although you can't get an Aghanim Scepter on a support tree, I think the Living Armor support would have been more than enough, and maybe even giving the farming priority to the Ancient Apparition would have had a greater effect. But still, the AA is going to get towards that Aghanim Scepter just the same after getting the Midas. He's about halfway there. No further parts on the Courier, so it is going to take him some time. Back in mid. With the Ion Shell damage, the apathy's just not taking enough, however. With the misses, they can't seem to fight this. Dreamquill going to catch O2 with the BKB. Phantom Assassin standing strong. Black Hole going to be connected, but then the Skewer is going to pull them out again. Will the Phantom Assassin be able to take this fight 3v1? Looks like the answer to that question is no. RVP going to be able to turn around for a charge onto the BKB. Phantom Assassin that has worn off. Excuse me, she doesn't have that available anymore. 4 for 1 if you count that Aegis, and now they're going to make it a proper 4 for 1. But can the Phantom Assassin actually mop up any further? No, the 4-step play coming out from Hehe is on point. That fight from aSpera was just so sloppy, I want to say. The Phantom Assassin wanted to go ham, wanted to kill everything, but it really kind of felt like that skewer completely screwed them over. At the very least, took them out of a position they'd be comfortable in fighting, and a lot of the BKB duration of the Phantom Assassin was wasted. United find themselves with a big boost in power. The Ancient Apparition now going to be well on his way towards the Zag. Just about 1,100 gold shy until he has that item, and really they found themselves a new lease on life that aSpera did not need to give them. And it's also a cooldown on Black Hole, although they didn't spend the RP, or if they did, it's back online. And they can't go for high ground now. You're going to be very happy with the outcome of that last engagement. Yeah, very topsy-turvy game, both teams taking fights and then losing them just as easily. Hehe are still in a bit of a precarious situation. They'll keep on pushing out these lanes and farming up till they have the Ags on the Ancient Apparition. Kind of feels like that needs to be a pretty big item for them if they want to do well inside this game. Zeus's item progression has slowed down quite a bit. After the 4-staff, I'm not sure what the Zeus is going to favor. A Yule Scepter could be really nice for him to purge off the silence coming out from the puck. But probably even more importantly, just the extra movement speed, mobility, sustain, and something disruptive once the Phantom Assassin BKB's worn off. Another way to cancel Black Hole all around. Just a really solid item. Or Blink Dagger. That's good too. Just any way to keep HWA safe. And this is definitely one way to do it. Oh, well then, we'll chill and wait for the next fight to happen. For now, Tier 1 Tower in mid going to take a spill as aSpera are going to push into that one. And, even the might of Treant's Living Armor isn't going to be enough to save it. The gem on the Vengeful Spirit was also lost, I believe, in that last fight. No, actually, the gem was not lost. Captain Love was the only survivor, so they still have the ability to take out these trees, and they're going to spot that nasty green effect around some insight here. Can they actually eat through to it, though? They might have to commit a skewer or a Midnight Pulse in order to get away with this. They'll walk around to the other side, and it looks like Vengeful Spirit eventually is going to be able to munch it down. She misses the tree, actually. Now Spirit Breaker charging in. If they can get this gem, would be huge. They'll connect, and the double combo from the Zeus wrecks her. The gem is going to be secured by an RP. His RVP is held back, but Hakan just can't do it. He picks up the gem. He's going to die to the Nether Strike if he can actually get it off, but no. With the Malefice, it's not enough gem on the deck. They're going to lose their Vengeful Spirit as well as their Magnus. Nether Strike up towards the north. His Phantom Assassin has popped a BKB and tries to kill off the enemy team, but just can't stick on to anybody. The Tree Protector is in biz. The Ice Blast is going to connect, and although it's going to get most of its damage absorbed by the pipe, doesn't look like that's going to be enough to save the apathy, or maybe it will be. The Treant Protector's still deep on enemy lines, completely in biz, but after a couple of heals, they're going to turn on to Smiley. Smiley dropping low, Smiley bolted down, and HWA notches himself a killing spree. And just like that, it's aSpera's turn again to lose the fight. Gem picked up by the Zeus as if he needed any more vision, and well, they'll be able to take away quite a bit with this. Enigma's on the sidelines for 40 seconds after finishing up that pipe, was not able to farm buyback gold, so Hehe United going to punch the tower once or twice and then back off. They can't fully commit to this since their ability to kill towers is incredibly limited. In fact, their heroes are probably among the worst at doing that, unless you purchase a Necrobooker for the Darks or something along those lines, but still, going to be just fine. Dark Troll Summoner down towards bottom, going to be mopped up by the Spirit Breaker. That was the dominated creep coming out from the Phantom Assassin, so a little bit of extra gold for the Spirit Breaker. And RVP is going to be well on his way towards Heaven's Halberd, which he is going to pick up in just a little bit more gold. Should be fine for that. Dream Protector is going to be working on his Refresh Orb. And as far as the other items for Hehe are concerned, we have a Crimson Guard in the works for the Darks here, and a Bloodstone for the Zeus. I think that tops this all off. For aSpera, they have that Basher up for the apathy, but still this Phantom Assassin hasn't been able to stick very nicely onto targets inside the fights, which is problematic for the team. They really need to tighten up the screws and make sure that these Black Holes and RPs are going to connect well, and more than anything, don't interrupt each other with that skewer or just by whiffing an RP, something along those sorts. The execution coming out from aSpera definitely needs to be on point. Vanguard's picked up by the Darkseer, and soon after he's going to have all of the ores that you could ask for on this hero. He's actually forgone boots. I failed to notice it earlier, but who needs boots when you have Surge? When it's maxed out, I suppose you can get away with it on this hero more than most. The tree and size in the forest are going to start stacking up again now that the gem isn't up for aSpera. They probably should be committing every once in a while a skewer or excuse me, the midnight poles to clear out large chunks of trees just to make sure that he doesn't have as much vision. But even so, you're not going to be able to clean up all of those eyes in the forest without having true sight of some shape or form. HWA going to continue farming up towards his bloodstone inside the dire woods, but for the last couple minutes, we have been without a fight, or a major fight at the very least. Enigma did get that tower destruction, but that was pretty much it. And even that tower destruction in mid really hasn't done anything for aSpera, as the map control that tower offered has been replaced by this tree. Tier 2 tower in bottom going to be jumped down towards Yarn the Slayer, is getting pinged out incessantly as he walks by a sentry. They know where this tree is, and well, maybe they can catch him out. Dust looking for the skewer, and misses. And Yarn the Slayer is not going to survive since he gets swapped back. The wall, however, is going to be pretty darn good, and the Zeus ultimate does a chunk of damage. They'll be able to get the black hole combination off onto 3 with the RP to follow it up. The Phantom Assassin is cleaving through all of it, but it isn't enough damage to immediately kill off RVP. They do get 2 in the end, but a fairly even trade, all things considered. Can they mop up HWA? He has a 4-step and blink, however, he's not the easiest of kills, and the Bloodstone too. The apathy is just not getting enough crits. There you go, that's the one that you wanted. 3 for 3 going to be our trade, as the Magnus also dies, I believe, sniped out by the Ancient Apparition. His is going to be playing around with the enemy team, but finds himself a regeneration rune. And in the end, looks to be a fairly even exchange, although the big winner is the Phantom Assassin for the Radiant side, collecting 1,500 gold into the bank, and that's going to be your completed Abyssal up for the Apathy. That was the RP black hole that they really wanted and really needed. If that went any worse for aSpera, they probably would have lost a lot more. And Hehe definitely wouldn't have lost the Zeus, and probably would have survived on the Spirit Breaker too. The Apathy doesn't seem to be the luckiest as far as when it comes to crits, but still is doing a lot of damage. With the Empower added to the Phantom Assassin's kit and caboodle, hitting for 300. That's bar crits. With the crits, it gets to a dirty amount. Overgrowth going to be committed by the Treant Protector. It looks like that was mostly just a farm. And yeah, they'll be able to do that. The Zeus going to find himself a Vengeful Spirit, or not rather the Zeus, but the Ancient Apparition. That ultimate landing in combination with the Treant's Overgrowth is going to be the end of the poor Venge's life. Not much you can do about that as a support who only has Power Treads and a Quelling Blade as the major items at the very least. Gem of True Sight going to be picked up by the Enigma. They really, really want to get rid of these eyes in the forest, but can they do that? Charge in mid. Looks like they're going to spot out the Magnus, but decide not to go for it. They do see the puck going in the background. Or in the background, excuse me. After a little bit of all chat squabbling, He United going to resume the rest of this game. Gem of True Sight going to be plunked down in the bases. He really don't need it. They have a Zeus. And that's a more stable way to get rid of the wards on the enemy's side without really risking anything, as long as you're good with your bolt placement. I'd expect these wards to be done away with pretty soon. They probably know that there was a sentry in this vicinity since the tree was spotted out, and they'll incessantly ping onto that high ground. In the end, that should be done away with. Overgrowth going to be committed. I don't see that's actually going for, if it's actually going for anybody. The puck's going to be dropped low with it, but the charge is cancelled. They won't go for any further. But this is a Hasted Spirit Breaker, and Hasted Spirit Breaker is a scary thing to behold. He's not going to hold on to that haste rune for much longer, however, that's going to expire. But even so, they're still capable of fighting. Smoke from the Phantom Assassin going to be popped as she runs ahead, looking forward. The puck can't actually commit a Dream Coil into any more than just a his. The back and back is going to be cancelled. With stuns coming out from the Radiant side. Kerr going to fly through, gets killed by the Phantom Assassin's illusion. Swap back onto the Enigma, trying to buy him enough space. Will there be enough bash to scale Smiley? In the meantime, Phantom Assassin kills off the Zeus in the sidelines. Will she actually join the fight proper? Or if you can even call it a proper fight. Very scrappy from both sides. Puck going to blink in, gets the Silence Orb, but ends up not doing enough. The Phantom Assassin going to get herself disarmed by the Heaven's Halberd, but now with the dagger crit and a proper crit, RVP going to drop very low, charges over in the sidelines, trying to get over to the creep wave. RVP going to survive, but will the rest of his team be lucky enough? TP 10 going to be cancelled by Black Hole and an RP. That's a lot of hate for the Darkseer. He's going to end up losing his life too. aSpera, they get 2 kills, but costs them everything, and a courier pickoff too. I didn't see what that courier was holding. It looks like it was nothing important, just a TP scroll for them, and in a very awkward way too. Oh my goodness! How sad is that Venge? Well, she just got overgrowth and zapped. Gem and True Sight on the deck. Spirit Breaker probably looking to catch that one up. Going to charge over to Creeps, I want to say, and look to secure that for his team. Not going to be successful, as the Enigma is going to be the one to get that extra bit of True Sight for the team. But regardless, that's dirty. That really is. And they also lose the Magnus too. That was earlier on. Zeus gets that with the ultimate proper, really value ulti coming out from the tree and the Zeus bolt. Refresh reward for the tree and protector. And the burst damage that actually comes out from this is pretty insane. With 3.75 seconds on the duration, operating at a pretty ridiculous 175 damage per second, they'll be able to kill the Venge at the very least very quickly. Phantom Assassin snuck a Roshan in the meantime. She'll get that Aegis for herself and now look to join the fray. Mid lane, Zeus going to be dropping the puck down to about half HP after a Veil Bolt Chain combo. Poor puck. Let's see if they can actually catch the puck out. If the Treant double ultis now, I think that's a death on the puck. Actually, no, it's not. Any other hero would have been, but puck is one of those special few that can actually save her life from that. It is going to get jumped in mid. The overgrowth is committed. The vacuum back onto the wall. The Apathy's dropping low and is going to die. That's Aegis, however. They still need to bring down the second life. In the meantime, they'll go for Smiley. And Enigma isn't looking too healthy. They'll ultimate down the Phantom Assassin. Her BKB isn't long enough duration to actually survive through this. Only 5 seconds. She's going to get veiled up and now punched down to the ground with the ulti coming out from the Zeus. That's going to be one kill, and they aren't going to stop here. They dive into the base for Smiley. Smiley pursued down. The pipe's already gone with the double ion shell and just a couple more punches. Darkseer gets that kill as he United find themselves with a full 5-man wipe. And now have the potential to push into high ground. There's no buybacks up, except for the one on the Puck and the Phantom Assassin. Puck alone isn't going to be enough to do it. The Phantom Assassin, if they want to defend this, I think has to press that buyback button. They'll wait for the Magnus to respawn, I think, before actually committing that one. Let's see if they're going to be successful in this defense. Tier 3 tower going to end up taking a spill, and Hehe going to commit for the melee barracks in mid. aSpera, they aren't defending yet. With the Magnus in, they're going to try to get the Magnus RP onto 4. Where's the Phantom Assassin, though? She buys back, but it's way too late to the party. She'll Abyssal up the Ancient Apparition. The Ice Blast completely off the mark. Now the Apathy's there, looking for a crit on RVP, but can't she even get it? The mischance is too much. She gets a bash, but can't actually secure that kill. RVP turns around. He has an ultimate. Ends up dying to a shockwave as the pipe just expired. Looking for the skewer, catches out 3, but again, the Phantom Assassin is too low and can't actually fight. That's PA down, with the Ancient Apparition sniping off that kill. Although they do save their melee barracks, it's at a hefty cost, and I think that Hehe can continue. Hehe is going to karate chop down that melee barracks to the best of his ability as they buy back on the mag. They have a black hole, and maybe they can fight, but without Hehe, it's a really, or the Apathy, excuse me, it's a really hard fight to actually have happen. If they focused entirely on this melee barracks, I think they could have gotten it. The tree is deep behind enemy lines and already has an eye in the forest inside the enemy base, and look at that. That's ridiculous how much map vision this tree is offering for them at this point. Earlier on, I questioned the ability of Aaron the Slayer to actually contribute. At one point, he was 0-5-1, but since then, he's gone 4-1-8. You can't really shake that or knock that too much. He's going to be pretty happy about his score, and all things considered. He has an overgrowth, and if he times it properly, he could just push out all of these lanes simultaneously, or he holds on to it. Regardless, things are looking pretty good for Hehe, although they'll need to do that again if they want to win this game. They need to get a barracks, I feel, in the next 10 minutes or so if they really want a good shot. But with the BKB being so low on the Phantom Assassin, she's falling too quickly. Sentry ward on the ground, gonna spot out an eyes in the forest. His Tree Protector punches that one down. Swap back, but he's invis. Do have further detection. They have another sentry. He's gonna be skewed back into the base. Overgrowth going committed with the Zeus ultimate. They do have a refresher cooling down 17 seconds. Won't be able to get that one off, but still the turnaround is pretty huge. They'll vacuum back the Enigma, and with the damage coming out from the Ion Shell isn't enough. Smiley's going to be able to survive for a little while longer, but the Spirit Breaker is not stopping this charge for nobody. He's gonna get Abyssal. He's gonna stop it for the Apathy in the end. But with the Phantom Assassin illusion flying through, and looks like that's not going to be enough either. Blink strike out to the Enigma as they'll focus down this melee barracks, and they'll get it. The punching power coming out from the tree and the karate chops into his are more than enough as, well, Hehe United found themselves a pretty big opportunity inside this game. All it took was a couple sketchy fights from aSpera. Let's see if they can get anybody on the tree. Swap back on the tree, back under the tier 4 towers, magic missile. The crits aren't coming out immediately from the Phantom Assassin with the refresher, overgrowth, the apathy, and a huge amount of trouble. Will be able to blink strike over to the Venge, but one punch from the tree, and she's going to go down. Captain Love turns for the magic missile, but I think this might just be all over. Although the black hole's there, it might be enough to kill off Yara and the Slayer, but it's not enough to kill anybody else. Bolt down from HWA, Gem of True Sight going to hit the deck as Darkseer's diving the fountain. The Ancient Apparition Ultimate is going to last long enough onto the puck to survive. Buyback from the Enigma. The puck is going to phase shift yet again, is going to live throughout that tick and shatter effect. And Hehe, for the time being, probably need to back off. But they do get a tier 2 tower in bottom lane, so now that bottom barracks is exposed and ready for them to take it. They have buyback available for the tree, but it doesn't look like they're willing to get it, at least for the time being. I have no idea what you go for on the tree at this point. I think Assault Cuirass is my top pick if anybody else isn't going for that. And it looks like they don't have enough gold. It would be wonderful to help them break the base, and it would also be wonderful to help the tree punch harder. Hitting for 200 a pop, it's respectable. And that extra minus armor is really nice to have at your disposal. Ethereal Blade going to be a pickup for the Darkseer, as if they need it anymore. Magic Amplification, and well, why the heck not? Dagon's going to be a choice for the tree, and Scotty for the Ancient Apparition. I can't say I've ever seen Scotty on Ancient Apparition, but who can say no to more ice? Even without a proper late game carry, so to speak, the team, all things considered, is doing a lot better than aSpera, since the Phantom Assassin is just getting kited and worked around so well by their side. With the overgrowth and with the BKB only being 5 seconds, the apathy needs to get crits in order to win a fight, it feels. In aSpera, they also need their RP and their black hole to be on point. As long as Hehe United don't flub up their positioning too much, I think they'll be in a pretty good situation this game. And really fun draft it was to watch. I'm pretty excited. Ethereal Blade's going to be a choice for Zeus as well. And well, with the Ethereal Blade and the Veil applied to somebody, they are going to melt. Literally melt. Even the Ethereal Blade itself is going to do quite a chunk of damage for the Zeus, pretty much akin to a level 1 Dagon, which isn't anything to shake a stick at. Pings galore onto the Train Protector coming out from the Zeus, no idea why. Also, it's worthy to note that there is a refresher Dagon for the tree, so the double Zapparuni is ready to go. Math confirmed? Who knows? I have no idea what that means, but Hehe United will continue the push down towards the bottom lane. They'll look to breach high ground yet again, although this isn't going to be the easiest of pushes. Maybe they can pull it off with the raw advantage that they found themselves with in the last couple minutes. 25,000 in the net worth and 15,000 and a half in the experience. Alrighty then. We've slowed down for quite a bit. Maybe they're waiting for the next Roshan. Although I don't think it's going to benefit them that much. At the very least, they'll deny it away from the PA. And, well, they have the Ethereal Blade up for the Zeus. Zeus really doesn't get much scarier than that. I don't believe Ethereal Blade's stack, but even if you shotgun the same person, it's probably not going to feel very nice. Dream Cold going to cancel a TV from Ancient Apparition with the Magic Missile to follow up. They're going to RP onto 2, but is this enough? With the Ethereal Blade, Hakan drops in a heartbeat. Hehe is getting focused down by the apathy, but again, the crits just aren't coming out in the overgrowth. And now with the bashes, the apathy down, no buyback. And, well, Hehe blown this game wide open, even though they lose their Darkseer and AA. Why not just finish it now? And it looks like that's going to be the order of business. The Vengeful Spirit's inside the base, and that's where she's going to stay. Captain Love, if you walk out of here, even with 2 bracers and Ogre Club, you're going to end up dying. Buyback on the puck. As Hehe look potentially dive this one. Blink back, they'll swap back to Zeus. He's not going to take that much from the tower. However, now Captain Love's in a whole heap of trouble with the Ethereal Blade. And the combo coming out from the Zeus going to be dropped down incredibly low. Now the Dagon going to be committed. Ghost Scepter picked up by the Spirit Breaker as he casually walks into the base. This is a pretty clowny game. The Phantom Assassin going to end up buying a Diffusal Blade to say no to these shotguns. Iceberg going to blink in, trying to finish down the tree and the Bara. Hehe, I think they're giving aSpera too much room. They should probably just hit the throne, hit the tier 4s, hit another lane of barracks, something. objective-based gaming, please, why don't you? But in the end, they do have quite a large lead over the enemy side, and these last couple of fights have been disastrous for aSpera. Yaren the Slayer's been doing quite a lot of work on the tree. In the last couple of engagements, those overgrowths have been completely stonewalling these attempts to actually take any fights. aSpera's lineup requires you to land good black holes, good RPs, and good dream quells, but they just haven't been able to do that, it seems, through one too many fights. Zeus ultimate going to committed, and although it doesn't get them any kills, with the overgrowth Hakan, oh no! Magnus, ripping pieces, my friend. With Ancient Apparition, Zeus, and the global potential coming out from the tree that I talked about in the draft, it's not a great game to be anybody on aSpera's side. We'll take that global snipe pretty easily. Swap down towards bottom, but Ethereal Blade onto Captain Love. The turnaround is real with the charge coming through. They are going to get Black Hold, however, but where's the follow-up? Where's the PA? She's up towards top. She's getting an Ancient Apparition kill, and that's all fine and good, but the rest of her team is dying in bottom. The Ancient Apparition is going to be met by the Spirit Breaker in base, and maybe that's not going so poorly after all. Ethereal Blade and the new combo coming out from the Zeus, and with that orb going towards the north, I think Iceberg's just dead here. Silence on HWA, but the right-click battle ensues. Iceberg is going to be able to phase shift this one out, trying to blink out. The Ion Shell's going to say no. Puck can't make it out alive, and the gem's going to hit the deck. Zeus, Ethereal Blade over onto the Enigma, going to drop a bolt in a chain. Smiley's down to half health, but that won't be enough to kill him outright. And Assassin's coming through, and this could be disastrous for Hehe. They might be throwing away their advantage. They still have yet to take that second lane of barracks, or put any major damage into the tier 4s, or at least take tier 4s at the very least. Ethereal Blade onto Zeus, 4-staff away, and the defensive play seems to be enough. With the wall onto the Phantom Assassin, her illusion's doing quite a lot of damage in return. Going to crit onto Smiley, and although they don't get any kills immediately, this could be bad. His Ethereal Blade onto the Phantom Assassin with the turnaround from the Zeus. The Apathy's going to survive with 20 HP. With the Zeus ultimate, that's going to be the end of not only the Phantom Assassin's life, but also the Puck. Magic Missile over in HWA, but this Zeus is tanking with 20 Bloodstorm charges to boot. They'll solo RP him, trying to kill off this little monkey, and they'll be able to do so. He ends up dying, but he's back up in 20 seconds regardless. aSpera, they're holding. They're holding, but only just. It's really over for them, but also I don't want to say that either. With the dream fight, time and time again, he could end up just losing grip of this game since they've gone for some clowny plays and clowny item choices. Charging the enemy base, boots of travel coming in from the Zeus, and Captain Love, looks like you are dead, my friend. With the ultimate committed straight up, the Zeus is coming in from the sidelines, and the Magic Missile actually going to do him in. Skewer back on RBP underneath the tier 3 tower. Inside the Midnight Pulse, he's taking quite a lot of damage. Walking over to the tree area, they do have the double overgrowth, and they're going to commit one. Hakan is not going to die immediately with the second overgrowth, and Ice Blast should be a kill. In fact, the Ice Blast might be lethal. Oh, he's going to end up losing his life, I think. They have a pipe, and I think they're going to be forced to pop it, actually. With the pipe, he's going to survive. For sure. He's going to live, but albeit not comfortably. Inside mid, tier 4 tower is fallen, and that'll be some nice gold for Hehe. At this point, aSpera aren't going to tap out since this is an important game, but it looks like Hehe have found it in the bag with this pretty off-the-wall draft. Very few times do we get to see Darkseer, Tree, Spirit Breaker, and even Ancient Apparition to a lesser extent is not seen as often as he once was. Smoke up from the Phantom Assassin as aSpera look to take this fight on their own terms. They have an RP cooling down in 5 seconds, and, well, maybe they've been spotted out by the trees, but in the end, looks like they're going to look for this big wrap. They'll find an Ancient Apparition. Can they actually kill him off? The one big benefit of having Scotty on Ancient Apparition is that your auto attacks look badass. And we're seeing that in action here. Down towards bottom, Hehe going to push down as maybe they catch out this Spirit Breaker, and they're going to waste no time committing an RP. Crit down. This is going to open up Hehe to go for this push. The Roshan is going to be taken out by aSpera, but do they care? No, it looks like the tree sure does. He's going to be pinging the tar out of his team. Puck going to be able to jump back into the base and survives for a little bit longer. Swap back onto his. They'll have a Magic Missile fall up. Zeus ultimate flies through, but damage onto his isn't that much. In the meantime, Zeus kills off the Magnus as they try to TP out. They will be successful. The Overgrowth was a little late in coming out from the tree. Darkseer still inside the enemy base. He's dropped down the wall, but nobody's going to walk through that. Just telling him to stay off his purple-headed turf. He is going to be able to make it back to base. Looks like eventually we're going to see that Assault Cuirass, or are we? I have no idea. Maybe it's just going to be a Shiva's guard for the Darks here. Overgrowth going to be committed, and although this, wait. What? How did that actually hit the Phantom Assassin? The nearest eye in the forest is over here. Not a clue. Not a clue. I thought they already destroyed that one with the Midnight Pulse earlier. Who knows? They'll go and commit to the Puck and the Vengeful Sphere. Just gonna zone them out a little bit. This game really has become less interesting, so to speak. Daggeting down creeps, that's what we're reserved to, and aSpera are getting choked quite a bit. The only one getting income is the Phantom Assassin, as the rest of the team has fallen desperately behind. Although we have BKB and Shiva's up for the Puck at this point, that's not enough. It's nice utility, I suppose, but really isn't going to save any lives. Ice Blast, not going to connect onto anything. Everybody's going to end up living through that one more time. With the Blink Dagger on the Enigma and with the cooldowns up for aSpera, this is the time for them to take a fight. But Hehe are in no immediate danger as they're not clumped up right now. Best they can hope for is a 2 to 3 man. And although that's great and all, I think that there's plenty of disruptive power coming out from Hehe's side. Phantom Assassin over on the sidelines going to munch through a tree. And although Ethereal Bladed up, going to be forced to pop the BKB. And well, now HWA has wasted that BKB charge. Ethereal Blade from the Darks here also going to save his life. And really, this Phantom Assassin's in a whole heap of trouble. Going to be chased out by the Spirit Breaker. Ultimate immediately popped. Although the Apathy is going to get piped up, it's not enough to save her life, especially if this Ice Blast lands. Ice Blast is going to be on the mark, and that's going to be the end of Phantom Assassin's life. BKB popped out by the Enigma as the Phantom Assassin buys back, wants to get back into the fray as they look to take this engagement, swap back on the tree. The wall, the black hole, doesn't really connect into much of anything. The focus fire onto his is non-existent. They'll be able to cancel it. RP over onto 2, but it's just not enough. Buyback from the Tree Protector. He has an ultimate, or does he? He has the refresher if he really needs it inside this fight. Ghost Scepter on the Ancient Apparition, keeping herself alive as the Chain Lightning flies through incessantly. The Apathy's going to be able to get down 1, but that's a dieback on the Phantom Assassin. Eventually it is. Once the Spirit Breaker decides to hit her, and GG called out by the Apathy as they can't fight any further. Well, that'll round it out for this best of 1 tiebreaker. It's going to be Hehe United to go into the Division 1-2 playoffs for a chance to play inside the Join Dota MLG Pro League, or whatever it's called. Thanks for watching here on HeflaTV. If you like the casting, you can follow us on HeflaTV at Twitter, Facebook, and here on Twitch. I've been GrandisV, and you can find me under that name for the most part, at Twitter in particular, and well, the VODs will be uploaded to youtube.com/heflamoke. This will be it for now. Hope to see you on some future broadcasts, but all we had was this rogue best of 1. See ya.